Hi, my name is Julie Cornelson. I'm a student in EDM 310 at the University of South Alabama, and I'm sitting here with Sarah Martin, who is a math teacher at Davidson High School in Mobile. Sarah, what grades do you teach?
I have 9th through 12th graders because I teach honors geometry and regular geometry, and I teach a fluid mechanics course. So I have students at all grade levels.
Okay, cool. So I kind of wanted to talk about project-based learning. I know a lot of people think that it's hard to implement project-based learning into a math course. So have you ever used project-based learning in your classroom?
I have. I've used it in all 3 classes. My fluid mechanics class is more of a science class, but it has a lot of math. It's math and it's applied math, basically, an engineering course, and those are honors level juniors. And so they respond really well to
Projects.
to that type of learning. And my honors geometry is mostly freshmen, some sophomores, and they also respond fairly well. They've seen that type of learning before. Generally, when they get to me, it's my regular students that sometimes struggle with that because they're accustomed to just being able to memorize or learn something superficial,
not really
for the
applied.
test. Exactly. So getting them to be willing to think beyond the basic problem or beyond what we're doing today is a challenge a lot of times.
Yeah. So, what ways do you help them, or do you kind of just let the project fizzle out? Do you encourage them more? What kind of things do you do with them?
They definitely need more interaction, whole group interaction to kind of get the thinking process started. And some classes respond differently than others. So I've had projects that went really well in my 5th block, and in 4th block we had to abandon ship and do things differently.
So they kind of respond better to group work if they can have a friend help them think outside of the box.
Some classes do.
Okay. Just depends.
Right.
So you have to know your students. So that's a good lesson there.
Exactly.
So what are some things that maybe the teachers in the elementary and middle school levels could do to help prepare them for these projects when they get to your class in high school?
I think definitely in the elementary level, the students have a natural curiosity, and so it's probably easier to lead them in that kind of learning. But it takes more work for the teacher. It's easier for the teacher just to instruct, to give information, than to do group project-based learning type of environment. So I think probably at the elementary you guys have an easier job because the kids are already curious and want to learn. I think definitely at the middle school level is where they can become more complacent, or the upper elementary can become more complacent and kind of lose that curiosity if they don't have a teacher that continues to encourage it and spark that enthusiasm that is there. Right, but I think they do get excited when it's something that's interesting to them, something that they're involved in instead of just a random theoretical problem on a page.
It can kind of become personal for
right.
them. So I kind of want to go back. You said your honor students they react really well, and they do. Do you think maybe that's because middle school teachers kind of just give up on the regular students? They don't push them like they could, or give them enough opportunity to learn that way?
I do think, and I think sometimes that the regular student in middle school and in high school, that behavior and just classroom management takes its toll. Right, the focus has to be more on classroom management and just getting them to buy into why they're there or what their goal is.
So it takes a little bit more effort on the teacher's part to excite them. And
the regular student has definitely probably seen more failure in a lot of cases than success, especially by the time they get to geometry in high school. That used to be the last course that students were required to take, and with the new college and career readiness standards, the rigor has definitely increased, and geometry is no longer the final course for them. Students are required to go through Algebra 2.
After geometry.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and they have to have 4 years of maths, which means that they would actually take algebra, then geometry. Our regular students take a course generally that's called Algebraic Connections, and then Algebra 2. And so these kids that I have this year are in a transition stage because their friends that just graduated a few years ahead of them were able to finish at geometry. And so they're at a place where they know that this is not the end any longer. Exactly. And so their attitude about everything is a little bit different.
Cranky about the end of that class. Yeah.
So
I really understand that. Okay, well, it sounds like you're doing a great job with your students, and I'm glad to hear that someone in Mobile is implementing some project-based learning and having some success with it. So
definitely, with our EPIC program, we do.
Yeah, with the engineering.
We do lots of project-based learning.
All right, so thank you. This has been an interview with Sarah Martin. Thanks.
You.